Hi, come on in.
And join in. It's the Very Merry Life. Hi, I'm Mary Hendricks, and you might know me as that relatable AF Mama over on Instagram who hopefully feels like an old friend at this point. And if not, it won't be long till it feels that way as we get raw, unfiltered, and very unapologetic in all things motherhood, marriage, sex, and more. From moments worth savoring to moments worth surviving, get ready to leave feeling seen and supported. You have a friend here now, so hey, take a seat. What's going on? Hello, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome back to another Katie's Corner.
Hello, Mary Hendricks in the house.
Hello. All right. So for anyone, if you're brand new, if this is like your first episode that you're listening to of the podcast, I would encourage you to get out and go listen to other ones first. But if not, stay tuned. And this is Katie's Corner. So it's Very Merry Life, Katie's Corner. And I have Katie here, Katie Costa here from Mommy Needs More Wine, which we were.
Hello. I'm so happy to be back. Thank you for continuing to bring me back because I feel so honored every time. But like, we're legit friends now. Like,
we are legit friends. This is a thing. So it's good. Yeah. But I bring Katie on once a month because one, I love her. Two, I get bored of just talking to myself. I don't want to do so many solo episodes because I don't want to. I like talking to people. So it's
always fun.
Yeah, we have fun.
And if you are listening right now, Mary is drinking tea.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm about to pop a bottle of champagne. Even though Mary gave up alcohol, I will drink for you, my love.
I know.
Because I'm cheersing to us. Our babies just turned 1, everyone.
I know.
If you don't follow me, Bryn is 3 weeks, right? 3 weeks older than Haley.
Yeah.
Right? About 3 weeks. 2.5 weeks?
Yeah, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks. It's close.
So we have toddlers.
Mm-hmm. Officially.
What the fuck, man?
I don't know. Well, you have more of a toddler than I do because Bryn is actually walking. So I feel like
walking. Like she might as well just apply for college applications at this point.
Like to me, when I watched stories of her, I'm like, oh, she's older. And then I'm like, wait, no, she's not. Like she's not that much older.
She is really advanced. It's actually insane.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like hopefully, I mean, the jury's still out for the other two, but I think Bryn might be my honor student.
Hey,
we're aiming high for her.
Hey, you never know. You never know. That's the funny thing. Like kids are so different. Like because Spencer walked a little bit later. Even now, I swear, Spencer's still wobbly. Like he is just his like fine motor skills are shit, but his brain is like on fire.
I love that his drawing, whatever he wrote. Did he write Blippi? What was that?
Blippi. It was Blippi. He wrote BLIPPI. PPI. Yeah. And he wrote it perfect. Like he wrote it very good. He's good with that stuff. He's like obsessed with the ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, colors, numbers. Like that's shapes. Amazing. He can walk around like at 2, like at almost 2. I think at 2 years old, we'd walk around the neighborhood and he would see a stop sign and go octagon.
Wow.
And we passed by a White Castle in the car, and White Castle logo is a Pentagon, I think it is.
Yeah.
Pentagon. And he yelled out Pentagon. And I'm like, what the hell? And he knows what he knows what a trapezoid is. He knows what a rhomboid is. And I'm like, I don't even know what this shit is.
Neither do I. He's a little fucking brainiac.
Yeah. I have high hopes for him. I know. I have high hopes for him. But
who's the brainiac with you or Kev? I mean, you went to Purdue, didn't you?
I went to Purdue University. Kev went to State College. He went to like a good college before him, but he left after a year. So not that it matters. Not that it means shit.
I mean, really, it really doesn't. Like my minor in college was music. And here I am on Instagram.
Yeah. Hey, you can start.
I'm going to pop this. Hold on.
Do it.
Hold on. Best sound in the world.
Do it.
There you go. Mazel tov. Even though I'm not Jewish, but for my Jewish friends.
What?
So Mary and I were chatting this week and, Mary's still on the fence about maybe baby number 4. I am officially like shop is motherfucking closed, bitch.
Oh.
And I made that decision. I had a C-section. My doctor, I decided to get my tubes tied. And once Bryn turned 1, I had this like anxiety-filled moment where I was like, holy shit, I'm never going to have a newborn ever again.
Yeah.
Like I'm never going to, like the first year I feel like just flew by. Like third baby, first year flew by. How do you feel with Haley? Do you feel like this year, like,
oh my God,
flew by?
Yeah. Well, and I did like a Q&A on my Instagram stories and someone just put in saying like, I'm in the newborn stage right now and I feel like it's never going to end. And I'm like,
Yeah.
was like, oh, it ends. It ends.
Oh, it ends. And it's the quickest, I think it's the quickest phase, but when you're in it, you're fucking in it. And it feels like you're drenched.
Yeah. You feel like it's never going to end. You feel like it's just it is forever, but it's like forever. Like you're just forever going to be exhausted. You're forever going to feel confused and like off. Like you just forever feel off and like you're never going to get a grip on who you are. And the moment you start getting that breath again, and I started feeling that around like that 9-month mark. Was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to like reemerge out of whatever the fuck this was. And you feel good.
It's literally like, it feels like the worst hangover of your life. And then you're on like Survivor.
Yeah.
And then you just get kicked in the face repeatedly. That's what newborn life feels like.
Yeah. Yeah. And you just like are very confused. You're very confused as to who you are, what you're doing. Like, just
everything's upside down.
Yeah. And it's very wonky.
I think, and I had some followers, I did post on my stories, I was crying. I was very like, oh my God, like, this is it. Like, we're not having any more kids.
Yeah.
And a few followers, messaged me and they were like, I get it. Like, the finality of, oh my God, we're not going to experience that again. And then I had a bunch of followers say, but it gets so much better.
Yeah.
Just wait.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who has 4 kids. She tried for the 3rd, got twins, right? And she's like, but think about the long term, Katie, like when they're older, like you're going to be so set. Like 3 is good. Like, 3 is more than the average, I feel like.
Yeah.
I think average kid is like 1 to 2. Some kid, I know a lot of people like that are kidless by choice.
Yeah.
And this is like a thing with our generation and the upcoming generations. They're like, yeah, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I don't know. How are you feeling? I know you said Kev was kind of like,
I think
hard
he's done.
no, Mary.
I think he's done, but then he has moments where he's like, if it's this, then let's do this name. And I'm like, are you though?
Yeah. See, nope. He ain't done. No.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think we would be content if it's not going to be anytime soon. I think if it were to happen, it would probably be in the next like year and a half that I would bring it up and be like, hey, you want to do another? But I don't know. I don't know.
You're still pretty young. You're what? 32?
I'm 30. I'll be 33 in May. So
yeah, you're like a spring chicken. My age old bitch. I'm approaching 40. Okay, I'll be 39 in August.
Hey, you look hot. It's all right. Well, Kev is your age, so Kev he's 38. How old? I don't fucking know how old he is, but he's that. So he's up there, but I just think he's done. I think he's like looking forward to things. I know he keeps asking me like tomorrow night. Literally a few hours ago, he just sprung on me. He said, "Hey, do you want to go to an event tomorrow night?"
Did you say yes? Please tell me you said yes.
I don't have a babysitter. I was like, why the fuck would you just say this to me now? And he was like, well, I just figured. He was like, well, maybe we could ask your mom and dad to come over. And I was like, I am totally open for that, Kev. And I said, I literally just got Haley to take a bottle, which by the way, side conversation.
Oh my God.
We're like we've been doing like sippy cup, but and technically at this point, I probably am going a little backwards, but she's taking a bottle. I only nursed her once today. That's it. Amazing. So we're getting there. I called my Botox lady. And I said, book me in. But I told Kev, and I was like, it hasn't been long enough where I've had someone else put her down yet, where I'm not in the mood to be out. And he was like, well, we'll be home by 9. I was like, someone's going to have to handle bedtime. I was like, I need to know that it's like not going to be a disaster. And I know she'll fall asleep, but like, I don't feel good about it yet. Yeah.
The bedtime routine for me is it trumps everything.
Yeah.
Because if that bedtime routine gets fucked, my night is fucked, my morning's fucked, and the whole day, the next day is fucked.
Yeah.
So like when we get a sitter, I put the kids down, especially the baby, and then we go out.
Yeah.
It's like, because that is something like, also I would have anxiety because I know that I do things a certain way and the baby's used to that. Like, luckily my boys are older, so it's just like, get the fucking bed. Yeah. But like the baby, like, I don't, it's a process.
There's a routine. Yeah.
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 So it's hard. It's really hard.
Well, that's what I'm trying to get to.
For some alone time.
Well, and that's what he's starting to get to. He's starting to get to a place where he got invited to speak at a conference in London this coming November.
Oh my God. Really?
And he really wants me to come to that. And I said, I'm game for that. Like, I will do that. But part of me also wants to bring the kids with me. And he was like, Mary. And I'm like, I kind of think it would be so fun. And he was like, I think not. And I'm like, I know where you're coming from, but also I have a hard time. That's why I made that one reel where it was like, I need alone time. And I complain that I don't get enough alone time. But the moment I get it, I don't want it because then I miss my kids.
Well, because we're control freaks.
Yeah. So
like only mom can do it best. And I think here's the thing about that. We know already that we can do it better than anyone with our own kids, you know?
Yeah.
But sometimes you got to let it go.
I know.
We're going to survive. Like, you know, I went away. I always go away. You know me. I'm all about like, I'm going to get the fuck out of this motherfucking house.
Yeah.
But I know that Keith, you know, isn't going to do it the way I do it. And even if I have like my mom here, it's still going to be a shit show. But out of sight, out of mind. As long as they're fed and happy and healthy, I'm good.
Yeah.
But it's hard. It's really hard. It's really hard. And I know so many women that they don't have a hard time trusting. And I don't blame them. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like, we're our own worst enemies sometimes with that type of thing where you have to look and I encourage everyone like listening, especially when it comes to your husband's situation, do it not necessarily for yourself. Obviously you need it. Do it for them. And that's like a big thing. And I tried, like Kev is great. Like I know I went away for a day and Kev put the kids to bed and he does nap time. Like he does great. I don't know what happens while I'm gone. I tell him not to report back. Like, don't tell me anything. Like, don't tell me if they're screaming their heads off or anything. I don't want to know. The same way that I don't report to him during the day. Like, I don't tell him that shit. He trusts me with it in whatever way it goes down, and we have to do it mutually back to them. And they need that confidence building because if we continuously take it out of their hands, they will never feel comfortable doing it ever.
No. And the generation before us, like my parents' generation, like my dad didn't like, listen, was he a loving father? Hell yeah. But he didn't take us to dance. He didn't go to the baseball games. He didn't come to the soccer field. Like he really did nothing. His job was to work and my mom was to handle the children. Yeah. And I made a reel a couple weeks ago. Keith was like, I'll put her to bed. Can I put her to bed? But I was home. So like when I'm home, I'll put the baby to sleep because it's like, it's my bonding time with her. It really is. Yeah. And he was like, can I do it? And I'm like, oh, sure. I thought he was giving me a break. Yeah. But he was bonding with her. And I feel like fundamentally, like men deserve that bonding time with their children just as much as we do.
Oh, absolutely.
And to relinquish that control sometimes is so hard. Yeah. Right? Because it's like we feel like we trump them with that type of thing. Yeah. But sometimes they need it and they deserve it just as much as we do.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%. And that's what we forget. We forget that little aspect and they're never going to get more comfortable at doing any of this stuff. And I think that's the reason why like the whole default mom thing, the whole like
totally
expectation thing, a lot of it is because we've kind of set it up that way where it's that we take the path of less resistance. Like we know that it's going to be easier if we just do it ourselves. It's going to be easier. It's going to get done quicker. We'd rather just not have a fight put up against. I get it. Trust me. I do it a lot. Yep. But I also know it's to my own detriment anytime I do that. So sometimes you have to just like recognize and be like, hey, I'm going to step back. Daddy's got you. Daddy can do this. He's just
Daddy can do it. Mommy's burning out. Like you cannot pour from an empty cup. No. It's, and I will say this again. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Like you have to fill your cup with your needs as well. And it's taken me so long to realize that. It's taken me to my third baby to really realize like I have to be happy in order for my kids to be happy, in order for my marriage to be happy. And sometimes finding that happiness is really difficult and finding like ways to, fill my cup in other ways, like not just children wise. Yeah. I get my nails done. Like that's something I like to do. I go out on girls' nights. Sometimes I just want to watch TV, like without anyone around. Yeah. So you have to do things that make you happy. But I always say like, get out of the house. Yeah. So, or what are you going to do? Are you going to go out tomorrow?
No. No. Long story short, no. No, I'm not because I would have to figure out a babysitter situation.
Yeah, it's too last minute.
It's too last minute. I told him, I said, you got to figure that out. You have to tell me what is to be planned. I don't even have anything to wear. That would be another thing. I need to figure that out.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Eye-Opening Moments podcasts are real-life stories of adversity, encounters, and perspectives. They are moments that can lift your spirits, give you some food for thought, or move you. For the introspective mind that likes to reflect, discover, and find solutions or meaning in a complex life, listen to Eye-Opening Moments podcasts.
It's such a male thing to be like, hey, like let tomorrow, like, no, buddy, I need to plan things out. They don't understand because, like, especially my husband, like he's not like getting the babysitters. He's not lining things up.
No,
you know.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. It's not like people just drop whatever they're doing out of, whatever. And I hired a babysitter recently and she's come over and right now she's just coming over as like a mother's helper situation.
Yeah.
And it's
How's
great.
It going?
It's good. I love her. I love the girl. And like for anyone listening, so care.com is where I went. Great. Because that's hard. It's hard finding a babysitter. And the stars aligned, but I went on there and it was a girl that I used to personal train. She was a personal training client of mine. And so I recognized her and I was like, I know her. Yeah. This is already good. Yes. So I contacted her and she's come over and she's in college now, but she like virtually does college. And she's amazing. Great. She's great. The only downside is Haley is obsessed with me to where if I walk out of the room, she freaks out.
Yeah. She's like, freaks out. Hello.
Yeah. Stranger danger is happening a little bit. So we're trying to like figure that one out. But right now we're in the phase of like having her, the babysitter, come over and just like immerse herself into the chaos to get used to it. And then that way, eventually it will boil into me.
Yeah. Like getting
leaving.
Out of the house.
Yeah. Cause I don't want to do it to her. I mean, she said, and I talked to her, she's like chill enough where I talked to her and it's like, hey, like you're in college. You don't know this. Like you don't know this world. And especially with anyone, like even my parents, this isn't their norm. And when it's not their norm, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like it's a lot for us, but it's a lot for someone else that doesn't do this regularly and they don't know the ins and the outs and everything like that, where it's like, I don't want to make it any harder for anyone. So I'd rather you just come in, get used to it. And that way, you know how we operate, which is basically survival.
A shit show.
Yeah. Survive.
Yeah. Like, it's so funny though, because that you say that because it's true. Like, even the most seasoned of grandparents, I've noticed like it's a lot for my parents. Like my parents are in New York, right? So like, but when they're here, like I can tell that it's a lot for them. And like, I know it's a lot for me and I'm significantly younger than them. And this is my daily life. Yeah. But you're right. Like for someone to just come in and be like, you're welcome to the shit show. It's like, it's hard.
Yeah. It's a lot. It definitely is a lot. I noticed that even like on vacation this past summer, like I noticed how much it was, especially because we were on vacation with everyone. So they were involved in our shit show and you almost got really, I didn't like it. I didn't like it because I was like, I don't like other people witnessing the shit show and getting affected to see like when you start seeing others get affected because of your shit show that you're used to, it makes you question your shit show.
Of course.
And I didn't like that. I was like, I don't like seeing people get affected. And it wasn't a bad way. It was just like, I can tell it's a high stress situation, but I'm so used to it. It doesn't bother me anymore.
I know, because it's just like, it is high stress. Like, I mean, I feel like motherhood is high stress. Like, where's our cortisol levels at? I want to know because my stress, like this week, especially, Monday came and I was like, you know what? 3 is fucking good. Yeah. Like I can't, there's no room on my plate right now. Yeah. And I'm just like, I literally just wanted to like drown myself in my pool this week emotionally because it is a lot. It's a lot. I'm just like, someone please.
Well, that's how I feel. My 3-year-old Spencer is giving me a run for my money.
I know. Oh, you wait. Boys are, I mean, I'm sure I know Cass has like a fiery personality.
She's fiery, but Cassie isn't like, she's fiery in that she's just, her head, she is me. She is me as a child times 1,000, where her head is in the clouds. She wants to go and do, like, she's my child that, like, it's quiet upstairs because she's in my bathroom pouring all my shampoo in the sink because she's trying to make potions because she's pretending to be a witch.
It's like an innocence.
Yes, it's an innocence. Like she is in La La Land. That was me as a kid. And now I understand why my parents probably got frustrated with me a lot. Because again, she doesn't do things like, for example, like she once threw a giant plush octopus that we had in our bathtub. and filled it up with water. And it was a giant plush stuffed animal. And I had to throw it out because it was soaked with water and it was so annoyed.
course.
And when I asked her why she did it, she said, because octopus live in water.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh, okay, well.
So cute.
They mean well. They're not doing anything. Spencer, on the other hand, glorious angel child, sarcastically I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Oh my Christ. Cassidy, even today, she joked the other day. I was like, what is wrong with you, kid? Because he just yells at me and she's like, he needs to go back into the dark woods. That's what Cassidy said to me. And Kevin and I just looked at each other. We're like, what dark woods did he come from? Because I kind of agree that he should crawl back into the dark woods that he came out of, because that's what he's acting like right now. I don't know what's going on. He yells at me for everything. And Kevin came home and he was singing a song that was on the TV and he started yelling at Kevin. And he was like, if you don't listen to me, if you do it one more time, and that's what he likes to say. And I'm like, do what? What are you going to do with me? Yeah, try, little boy.
Spencer, little Spence, is what I call a spicy baby.
Yeah.
And there's always one. They're just a little spicy. They're not bad kids. They're cuties, but fucking spicy as shit. Like, I have one of those. His name is Declan. Yeah. And he is cute as a button, but let me tell you, that kid, woo! Yeah. Ooh, literally puts hair. I don't know where I'm going. Hair on my ass? Is that what I was supposed to say? He just, on my chest. The kid gives me gray hairs. Like, and he does. He like yells and demands things. And I'm like, I don't know how to, I have a hard time parenting him. I'll be honest.
Well, I have someone coming on the podcast tomorrow and I'm excited to talk to her because she literally talks about, like, she's a whole parenting thing about spicy children. That's what it's called. Spicy children. Oh. And it's like parenting spicy children. And I'm so excited, but I'm trying to figure out discipline styles with Spencer because I don't know what to do. And Kevin is so old school. Whenever I tell Kevin's like, he gives me the look.
Hard knocks. Yeah.
And you know the look, like he needs something. Yeah. And I'm like,
but they listen to them.
Except he doesn't. He doesn't listen to Kevin.
Oh, see? Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. And Kevin knows if he does anything, he's going to get it from me. So he knows not to touch. Like, I just don't want any of the physicalness discipline in my house.
I've done it. Like, it goes nowhere. Like,
no, it doesn't do shit. It doesn't do shit.
Anything. It just makes it worse. Now I'm just like, what I say, and if anyone's listening, this is actually a really, really good way to approach. If you have a difficult child, you put the onus on them. So you say, you're making this decision. Yeah. There will be consequences. But if you decide this, there will be consequences. The ball is in your court, so to speak, or, you're making this decision. So take the blame off of you because that's what these children want to do. Yeah. And they're still learning. Like, he's only 3, right? Yeah. But I feel like he's a smart, clearly we were saying. He is. He's a very bright boy.
Yeah. His brain is definitely firing at a quicker pace, but it's like not aligned with, he's still such a baby in certain ways. So it's not, it's so off. But we're figuring that one out because I don't know what to do with him. Honestly, he hits constantly. He's constantly hitting. He's constantly fighting and chasing and trying to bite. And I'm like, I don't know what's going to work. Like, I don't know what I've tried. I've like banged my fist down on the table to scare the shit out of him. That doesn't work. He just smiles at me and I'm like,
yeah, it's like the defiance is like, that kind of defiance. I feel you because I have a child like this. I don't know what to do.
Well, I kind of think I know what to do now, even thinking about it. I know that Spencer really does well if I get down on his level and I'm like, hey, come here, like, and calm. I just don't have the time to do it. And that's the issue.
I feel you on that.
So like, I know what can be done. I just don't always have the luxury of being able to dedicate that time. I just need like sometimes I need a quick reaction. Like I need a quick fix on that. And I don't always have it. So that's my struggle point with him where I'm like,
it's really hard because each child comes with a different set of rules and the rules are different and vastly different. Like the way I parent Luke is very different than the way I parent Declan, but in similar ways. But then, the baby, she's still too young, but it's my brain hurts, Mary. Yeah. Does your brain hurt? My brain fucking hurts.
Ouch. Not even so much my brain. I think I'm constantly scolding. Like I constantly am tensed up in my face.
Yeah.
This is why I'm so excited to book in with my Botox lady. I lay in bed at night and you know that feeling of your face if you've been in the sun too long and you can tell that you've been squinting and you can tell that it's all tense in here and you can just tell that your muscles are not relaxing when you're trying to. That's what I constantly feel like when I'm laying in bed at night where I'm like, okay, you can relax your face now, but something's not relaxing in me. And I'm like, okay, I need something. Yeah. It's like I constantly am tense. Where
it's very hard to self-regulate when, you know, because as adults, we can be rational, right? And be like, why would they write Blippi on the wall?
Yeah.
Because we are already grown up. And it's very hard to, you know, get to that part of your brain and say, okay, I'm going to be calm. Like I really have to dig very deep. And sometimes I feel like I'm digging to China to not freak the fuck out. And even like, so now like I'm very reactive and I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing? And now the boys are like, why are you cursing at me? And I'm like, okay, fuck. Like I mean, I curse like a sailor, you know, like I'm like, all right, maybe because I need, like you said, I need a quick reaction. So if I curse, I want them to know I'm serious.
That's how I am.
Like, is it more harm than foul? I don't know.
Well, and that's what I'm getting to. I'm starting to like really try to check myself on that one because it's not so much the kids are repeating it. I had a moment where I think, I don't know what I said, but I know Spencer did something and I was like, he's being a dope or he's being an idiot. And I don't think I said it out loud to him. Yeah. Like I didn't do it. I think I said it in passing. And then I heard Cassidy saying you're being an idiot or you're being a dope or whatever I said. And when I heard her say it, I was like,
shit. Yeah.
Because I didn't do it to like, I've never once called my kids a name to them, but I'm like, you're being a dope. Like, stop acting the way you are, you big dumbass. Like, like stop doing that stuff. Or like, would you stop it? And I say that stuff and it just rolls off the tongue because I don't think about it. And then all of a sudden I realize when it starts coming out of my kids' mouths where I'm like, that's gotta end. Like I've been starting to like be more mindful because they don't understand. They don't understand that that's certain stuff, but I'm also like trying to check myself because I think and I had that conversation on my stories yesterday. Mommy Realist, you follow her.
Oh my God, Sam. She literally is like 5 minutes down the road from me.
Yeah, she's great.
Really great.
Yeah.
She's a great follow. If you're not following her,
she's great.
Her out.
I saw in her stories because she's in Spain or something, and she's hiding out in a hotel room because she was about to like kill her kids and go nuts. And she's like, I really tried to gentle parent, but right now I'm kind of wanting to be a 90s parent and whatever. Yeah, and she's like, and she's like, I'm failing at the gentle parenting. And I was like, no, you're not, because you're hiding out. Like that's gentle parenting to me is like figuring out that you need to remove yourself from the situation. And that's what like I think of as gentle parenting. It's just like, I think we've kind of downgraded, like the past generations have looked at kids as less than. So when we freak out on kids, the older generations are like, well, they don't deserve an apology because they're kids. But yet I'm thinking about it. It's like, if I were to go upstairs and Kev do something, I'd be like, you're an idiot. You're a dumbass. What the fuck? Like all that stuff. I would apologize profusely because I would never talk to him like that. Yeah. So why is it okay that I can talk to my kids like that? And it's not. So that's what I've been trying to like get really good at, because I think it's like a thing that like us as generations, whether you mean to or not, whether it was raised to, I think we've just societally have programmed ourselves to think that kids are less deserving of like respect in certain things where I'm like, we need to fix that.
Yeah. And I think I've said this on your podcast before, like my mother was hard ass, loving, so loving, but like tough. Yeah. She never apologized. Yeah. But now we're all in our 30s. She's 70. She's like, I'm so sorry. I was always yelling. I'm so sorry. I was so hard on you guys. I'm so sorry. I was always yelling. Yeah. And I'm like, Mom, it's okay. Like, obviously I love her, but I'm trying to rewrite the course of history for myself, for my children. I really want them to know that I am human too. Yeah. And it's so important that they see that, because they're going to say, okay, Mommy lost her shit. Okay. But she came back and said she loved me. I'm so sorry. And I do this all the time. I'm always like, I'm so sorry for losing my cool. It's always in the morning. The mornings are a bedlam here.
Yeah.
And I'm always, because, when I have to go to work or whatever it is, it's bad. And so I'm like, wow, I'm leaving my kids to go to school and I just screamed at them.
Yeah.
And it's hard. So I will always apologize for my bad behavior.
Yeah.
And I tell them, mommy's human too. Mommy has feelings. I have big emotions just like you do. And they're like, okay. And then I'll let them know, like, you can, if you want to forgive me. And sometimes they'll say, nah, not right now. I'm like, all right, because they do deserve that respect, because we're molding them. They're going to emulate us in some way. It's so important that we show them the way.
Yeah.
And not that my parents didn't show me the way, but it's a very, there's a lot of finesse with this because
we're figuring it out. I mean, that's the biggest thing is I would say it was like, it's ownership. It's literally just ownership of how you're parenting, and then ownership in order to do better the next day, and whatever that may look like, then you do better the next day after that. And sometimes that better may not look much better, but it's better, like type of thing.
I feel
and
like it's always
you get there
10 steps forward, 1,000 steps back, 2,000 steps forward.
Yeah, and you're still going forward. As long as you're going forward and trying, then it's the trying. Yeah, it's the trying and ownership. It's literally that's it. That's what gentle parenting is to me. It's like literally just ownership of it and keep trying from there. But yeah,
it's hard. I think that the gentle, I didn't come from a gentle parenting household. And, they say like, you are what you come from. A little bit of that is true.
Yeah.
But I really do try to be more patient. And I think, people think gentle parenting is like letting your kids have all the choices and all the things. No, like you said, it's removing yourself from a situation, just like Sam did, to not freak out, because I don't want my kids to look back and be like, wow, my mom yelled a lot, or my mom was awful when we were kids. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want and so I really think like, when I asked the kids I talked about this on stories. I asked my kids what they loved about me. I saw some TikTok and it was like around Valentine's Day, and people were asking their kids like, oh, what do you love about me?
Yeah.
And my boys, both of them, couldn't tell me anything off the top of their head. And I was like, oh my fucking God, they hate me.
No, they don't.
And they were like, well, we know we can tell you what we love about daddy. And I was like, all right, I need to figure this out, because this is a me thing. It's not a them thing. It's a me thing.
Yeah.
And if I can find it in myself to correct the behaviors that I'm doing and to better their lives, then that's where I want to be.
Well, Dad's...
So, oh yeah, I mean, they love Keith. He's a firefighter. He's amazing. He lets them do whatever the fuck they want.
Well, that's why.
I'm a disciplinarian.
That's why. And it's such shit, because it's the same thing. That like needs to be another episode where it's like, it's literally you're the default. You are the default. And because of that, the default takes the brunt of the shit. And because of that, we have the big reactions, and it's crap because they then get to have the fun interactions while we are stuck with the bad interactions. And when our kids grow up and they go to therapy one day, it's going to be us that are getting talked about the mommy issues.
Yeah.
It's like,
and meanwhile, we just want them to succeed. And, like, I don't want my kids watching YouTube shit for 10 hours a day. I really don't police it that much. Yeah. But like, I mean, my husband will let them do whatever the hell they want, because for him, it's like they're quiet, or, whatever. I'm more of like, I'm a little bit more structured with him. And that is a big thing. We have very, very little things in our marriage. We have a great marriage, but there are certain things that we just don't see eye to eye on. And like certain things in parenting, it's very hard, because my husband and I are vastly different with what our beliefs are. Like, he truly doesn't believe in like limiting screen time at all. And I know you don't either. Yeah. And I wasn't like that all the time, but like, I felt like I was getting to be too much. But maybe he's right. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to, I want them to love me, and I know they love me. Yeah. But it hurts, man, when they were like, we don't know what we love about you. And I was like, shit, these motherfucking kids. Like,
yeah, no, that's just,
I do everything for you.
I know. Well, that's why. No, for like, the screen time, no, I don't monitor, but I do notice when they get too much. And that's why like today we hardly had any on, because I was like, you guys are a little a-holes right now. So
Yeah.
I'm taking it off.
Yeah,
and it works better.
They become little jerks when they have
Yeah,
too
well,
much.
they fight over it. And my kids are so little still that they fight over everything, and they want a particular tablet and they want a particular game, and it needs to be charged. And Spencer likes to throw it if his thing isn't working. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with all of that. And they fight over what shows they want. And it's just
that's the biggest thing.
I'm
well,
like,
now,
okay.
I mean, I have school-aged kids. So, like, our thing is like, reading. You just wait. Did you see the homework that my son got, my third grader got for that math homework? What the fuck, man? So,
I don't understand what they're doing in school.
Yeah. I need them to focus on academics a little bit. But someday, like today, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I need to protect my peace. Yeah. And if that means that I have to give them their iPads or put YouTube on, so fucking be it. I need to protect my peace.
Yeah.
And they were like, Mom, can we have McDonald's for dinner? I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's go. Sure. Yeah. Like, I was just like, it was like a big old yes day for them because I have been like super stressed this week. And I'm like, you know what? This is such a short, minute time in my life with them. And I really want to make the most of it. And I'm trying not to stress as much. It's so stressful though.
I think it's the stressing over. Yeah. Well, and I think it's the stressing that always brings out the negative outcomes. Honestly, I think it's literally the stress that makes.
Yes. That energy. Totally.
Yeah. And I always think about it. It's like the worrying over something is what makes it harder. So like for me, like I don't, you could boil it down to anything, but I don't worry about, the screen time. And if I did, then I think that's what's going to make kids want to go crazy over it. Like I don't stress about like food moderation type of things because I'm like, if I lock all that shit up, I always think about my kid, like my friends that used to come over in high school, like even elementary school and like raid my pantry because my parents didn't care.
That's
like
one thing. Nope. I will let them eat what they want within moderation.
Yeah.
But you're right because they're going to go to someone else's house and try and binge eat all that shit. Like, maybe you're right, Mary. I think you're right. I think you're onto something here.
I think it's literally just, it's not hands off where you're setting up boundaries. It's just, you're giving them room to figure it out. Like, for example, like the food thing. I bought Gushers, like Gushers fruit snacks.
Loved Gushers.
Love Gushers. It's a classic. I bought them, but I keep them for Cassidy's lunchbox. And I have them up high. Like I have a lock on my pantry. I have a lock on my fridge and not so my kids can't, whatever, but they go in there and it's free reign and they need to know boundaries with that stuff.
Yes.
But I was upstairs taking care of Haley or putting her down for a nap. And I came down and Cassidy had opened and took like 3 or 4 packets of Gushers out, ate all of them. And she tried hiding them from me. And she tried like putting them underneath the pillow so I wouldn't see. And this isn't her first time doing that. She's done this before where she'll take food and she just like, cause she knows I'm going to say no, probably.
Of course. Yeah.
And, I'm not that way. I would give her one. I would say, you can have one type of thing. And I told her, I was like, we're not buying these anymore. Like, we're not buying these. And I said, we're going to take a break from these. And I said, this is not good. And I didn't freak out on her. I was like, you have to know a boundary. Like you have to know that, like, I know that they're so good. And I know, like, I used to do that as a kid. Like you would see something, you just kind of would go crazy on it. I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, we need to respect this. Like I will have these, but I will hide these and you will only get them when I give them to you. Like you kind of just lost privileges on it.
That's how kids learn. Like it's,
I'm kind of just giving them room. I mean,
certain things.
Yeah. And if I hadn't set that up where it's like, she's got to figure it out through natural consequences and it is what it is.
Consequences are huge.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's hard because, now that my kids have all these other friends, I'm finding that there's a lot of parents that they really let I would call them free reign parents. Yeah. Their kids can really do whatever they want and they get whatever they want. And it's hard because I'm seeing this now and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want my child to think that they could do that too. It's hard. That's
a hard dynamic.
They have to, but it's where do we draw the line in the sand? And some people have a further line, than others. Yeah. But I think that's
hard. Well, and that's hard because once they come up with friends, when one friend is allowed to do something that you're not, that's where it gets tricky because everyone has to
I remember going to my friend's house and I didn't even like the friend. I think I was maybe 10 or 11, maybe 12, but she was allowed to watch MTV.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're allowed to watch it? She's like, yeah, my parents don't care. And I'm like, oh my God. So like, I wanted to go to her house to watch MTV or, you know, like, cause that's when music videos were on there. If you're listening, you know, there used to be music videos on MTV, but like, you know, it's like there was, I don't want my kids to ever go somewhere and be like you said, like the snack thing, like your friend used to come and like, there's got to be healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
With everything. I mean, honestly, not just children, adults need it too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just, for me, I've always gotten to like, I just don't stress about it anymore. I just don't overthink it where I'm like,
I think I really, because it's becoming part of our marriage. Like my husband's like, you always like stop stressing out about this, you know, it's the screen time shit. And because like, I think I've just been like brainwashed to think that they're going to turn into some dumbasses because it's not true.
Yeah.
Because we do a lot of outdoor stuff. Like, and maybe it's a control thing for me too. Like I really,
it might be that, but I would also like, have you ever been made to feel like you were dumb? Was that something that's like a trigger for you? Then it's probably it's internalized fear. Like for me, I have more of an internalized fear when it comes to food with my kids because I am terrified of either they having an eating disorder.
Yeah.
And also like there's just, I don't want there to be an issue. I don't know even, it's a fear thing on my end where I can tell that I've always been self-conscious about weight and things like that, where I have to check it with my kids and make sure that it's not involved in that
unhealthy
stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's definitely, it's a projection on us. It's our projections. It comes out in different ways with that. But if you've ever, like, I would imagine if you're concerned about that stuff, or if you're afraid that like certain things academically, if that's a thing, probably, I would assume it's probably because someone made you feel stupid at some point or made you feel like you were academically weren't, you know, were subpar in some way.
I definitely think that's, are we having a therapy session right now, Mary?
We are basically.
Therapist?
We are.
Shit,
I should have.
It's true though. Like I think now, I'm thinking back, like like I always thought maybe if I applied myself more academically, and I really did watch a lot of TV. It wasn't MTV at home, but like, you know, my parents didn't cap it. Yeah. Like they really were like, you know, I mean, obviously certain shows, but they were like, yeah, sure, whatever. We watched. I mean, my mom of 3, dad was working all the time. Yeah. That was her safe haven. Like the TV was like, sure, Mickey Mouse Club, whatever, Disney Channel, Nickelodeon. It was her quiet time. So like, I always think like, if my parents were better at capping that, would I have done better academically? I really do think this is like a psychosomatic thing. Like, it
totally is. It totally is. Every parent is projecting their own shit and their own insecurities and worries from their own previous experience. We would never have had these fears had we not lived through it ourselves. But think about it. Had that been the difference, like think about the alternative. Had your parents applied to what would you want? What would you be doing different?
Exactly.
Who's to say you're still successful now?
Yeah, totally.
Or you could have been the opposite and go to a college like I did, and I didn't do anything with my major. So, like I did.
I'm sure you had one hell of a time, though.
I did.
Those college days. We'll save those for sex confessions one time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll make our next episode. We'll talk about sex confessions.
People love when we talk sex confessions.
I know. Like, we're not doing that today.
My good friends be like, "That was effing hilarious." Like, I
know.
It's good time.
College times. Well, if college was a good rodeo show of a lot of booze, a lot of banging, a lot of
banging. It's funny because I went to community college, then I went straight to ultrasound school. So for me, like I never got that.
Let's do experience. One little preview of sex confessions. What's your cringiest sex moment ever?
Oh my God. Okay, let me tell you this.
I'm so glad.
Okay, so
we're gonna end it. We'll end it on this, and that way you guys
we're gonna end it on this. Everyone knows, if you know me well, I have a colorful sexual past. I have no qualms about it. I lived my life. I have zero regrets. I met a guy. He was Yugoslavian. He was tall. I'm talking like 6'5", and I was like, he was he was extremely handsome, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get it. This guy he's probably got a huge monster dick. Like, I was like, I don't even know. Like, I was literally preparing myself. Like, I was like, do I like do some like vaginal exercises, like get my body ready for him? Like, I have no idea. I was like, I better stock up on the lube.
Yeah, shit.
finally he brings me to this lavish dinner. We're like making out in a taxi. I lived in New York City. We're like all over each other in the taxi. We get back to my apartment, unzip his pants, micro penis.
Stop it. Are you just saying
micro penis?
Are you like a real micro penis?
No, like a literal micro penis.
Like,
and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. And he's like you can tell, he too didn't know what to do with it either.
Oh my God, the poor guy. He probably was. And
I was just like, what a waste of a man.
So what did you do?
You're so beautiful. He was like extremely successful.
So what did you do?
I mean, I tried. It was just like trying to get like a limp hot dog down a little hole. I just can't. And then one time, another cringe moment. And this is with my husband. So I really hope that my mother-in-law is not hearing any of this.
Get out now.
First time, yeah, I'm just like, I have to block some of them people from hearing this stuff. But the first time Keith and I had sex, it was interesting because I really was like, I was trying not to have sex with him because I was like, I have my period. I didn't.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care. Like, he was dodging. I was like, oh my God, I guess I'm not going to get out of this.
Yeah.
So whatever. We started in the shower because when I was pretending I was, on my period. Get to my bed. He bends me over. So I'm like full blown bent over.
Yeah.
And he sticks his thumb in my ass while we're having sex. This is first sexual experience. He sticks his whole thumb up until like the first knuckle into my asshole.
What did you do?
I mean, it was a knee-jerk reaction. I flinched.
Well, yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I didn't even feel like, I can't believe I married him, honestly.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, something obviously got you hooked. He like literally hooked you in.
I mean, he literally.
Jeez Louise.
Wait, now you have to, I told mine, you have to tell yours.
Well, I got a few, but cringiest. Yeah. Well, I have like, I can't believe I survived type of thing. I studied abroad in London. I had interesting things there, but I went to Dublin with one of my roommates, like my roommate at the time that I didn't know her. I just went with this girl that ended up being my roommate. We went to Dublin for the weekend and I met some guy at a bar. I have no idea. I know he's from Wales. I forget what his name was, but somehow I was drunk as shit and I ended up back at his hotel room. And I remember, I just know that we started something and then his colleague that he was there with walked into the room and I was like, I'm immediately uncomfortable. I'm getting out of here. And so I get out and I go the wrong way and I end up on a fire escape in the middle of some hotel courtyard and I couldn't get off of this fire escape. So I literally beelined it out of this hotel room. Like they didn't call me a taxi. I didn't know where the fuck I was, whatever. I ended up on this fire escape and I have no way off. So I start banging on a window and it's like this little old Asian man answered and let me through. And I somehow made it back to the hospital. I don't know how I lived through that experience. That was a bad experience.
Like now that we have children, especially we have like you have 2 girls, I have a girl now. I'm like, are we going to tell our kids, like maybe not all the nitty gritty, but I'm definitely going to be open and be like, be safe. Cause I have a lot of, I don't know how I survived moments either.
Well, that or like I dated some guy briefly. I dated some guy in college. His name was Dragon. Hi, Dragon, if you're listening.
Dragon.
What
did he look like?
He went by Danny. His name was Danny, but he was Serbian and his real name was Dragon. And that's that's apparently a Serbian name is Dragon, Dragon, whatever. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And I dated him, but he was a major douche to me. Where it was like one of those things where we dated, people knew that we were dating, but he never called me his girlfriend. And for some reason, I thought that was okay. And
yeah, of course, like all the shit we take.
But I was so fucking in love with him that I remember one night we were like getting it on, and I had thought I was pregnant the month before. Like I thought I had a pregnancy scare, and I told him, and he was so excited, thinking that we had a baby, that I remember him being like, let's do it. And I remember being like, I'm so excited. Like, and being like, I was 18, 19, being like, I'm in love. Yeah. Like he loves me. He wants to have a baby with me. So I was such a people pleaser back then that I was like head in the stars. Like this is true love. He was such a dick. Such a dick. We had great sex though. That was great. He was like real wild sex, like just throw me
Usually
around.
the best sex is with assholes.
It was the most toxic sex ever, but it was
super
great.
toxic.
But anyway, so after we broke up, I then immediately jumped into like another relationship because I was like heartbroken, needed something in my life, and I dated this guy.
Saying, Mary, and the way to get over one man is to get under another. And you know what?
I didn't know that saying,
Cheers
but
to that, baby.
That's what I did. Cheers to that. But I did, and this poor guy.
Dragon, you're talking about.
No,
right?
this isn't Dragon. This is Nate. Hi, Nate. How are you, Nate? Hey, Nate.
Fuck you, Dragon. Hey, Nate.
Yeah. Nate was very sweet. Nate wanted to marry me. Nate, I swear, if he could have, he probably wanted to marry me. But he had, I'm sorry, Nate. Sorry. Should have used code names. He had a wiener that was the color.
Was it maroon, purple? For those
pink.
of you that are watching and not
it
watching,
was the color like pink. It was like, like a raw hot dog. That's what it looked like. It was the weirdest looking thing. And I remember seeing it and being like, what the fuck is going on? And I was so freaked out, but he was so kind. So we kept going at it until he like was annoying. And then I broke it off with him over the summer when I came home. When I got back on campus, this is going into the cringy story. When I got back on campus, Danny and I kind of rekindled things where he would pick me up at like 2 a.m. being drunk.
Oh yeah.
And
Sneak
come.
link.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. My friends from the sorority would like run out after me and be like, don't go with them. And I'd be like, fuck you guys. But he would do that. And then he would like ghost me. And then I would be heartbroken. So then I would call up Nate whenever I'd be heartbroken. And Nate, I had a moment where I was a little belligerent and I fell down and I broke my hand. And I ended up in this belligerency, not during that night. I had a cast on at this point. I later went to go find Nate with the cast on. We ended up in his bunk or whatever doing the deed. I woke up like mid blackout. So that's a little terrible on your part, Nate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, come on. Consent is always needed.
I'm pretty sure I consented. I'm not like trying to not, but I'm pretty sure I seeked him out. But I woke up and I was like, I don't want to be here with the pink dick. So I ran across campus. This is a big ass campus. This is Purdue University. Across campus at 3 a.m. with a cast on and like my purse and like in walk of shame style, just running across campus.
Oh my God.
I need to get the again. How the hell did I survive that situation?
I know there's a lot. Ooh, I mean, I really should write a book. It would be called My Horizontal Life, but Chelsea Handler already wrote that book.
Yours would be good. Mine would be like, don't be a people pleaser. Cause that's all I was. Like I was such a, I wanted like a fairy tale for so long. I wanted a fairy tale relationship. And I remember that's what like with Kev, that was like actually an advantage of going through that, where when Kev and I started dating, I was like, that's not going to happen. I'm saying exactly how I feel. I'm not going to like, if there's something I don't like, I'm not going to just skirt past it. And
so true though. You have to, and I did the same thing with Keith. I was like, I have lived this life. I have people pleased and stayed in relationships far too long for the other person, not for myself.
Yeah.
And honestly, Keith and I were engaged within 6 months. I was like, this is my life. This is what I've done. I have nothing to hold back. I have nothing to hide. If you don't like it, there's the fucking door. I literally said that to him. And I was like, I have to live authentically. I literally can't like please everyone or be phony. Like if this is take me or leave me. And he was like, I think I'll take you. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah. And it's just been a wild ride. And like, honestly, like the Kevs and the Keiths of the world, they are a little glimmer of the type of men. There's not a lot of men like that will just accept and be loving and accept who you are. Like I wish I could go back to my younger self and really say like, don't put up with so much bullshit, but you live and you learn. Like, I'm so happy. Aren't you so happy we're like past that phase of like pleasing so many others? God, I'm so happy.
Just because I just did so much shit in order to try and like win people over. Like I constantly was trying to impress people that I was so lost when you couldn't pay me to go back to my teen years or my college years. Even my college years were epic disaster. I was a shit show in my college years. Like I was dealing with a lot of shit in my college years. I had an eating disorder and like you numbed it with whatever the hell you could.
Yep.
It was awful, but I wouldn't go back.
Oh, I'm so sorry I had to go through that. That is rough. I had an eating disorder too, but not too long, not for long, but enough to scare the shit out of me.
I think people have, I think everyone has, I call it more disordered eating, but mine definitely was bad. I got my junior year of college. I got down to like 89 pounds. I remember like getting on the scale and like 88, 89 pounds.
Yeah, because you're short, you said. You're like 5'2", right?
Yeah, 5'2", yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't like
oh my God, you were probably
ridiculous.
Like a little nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I got scary. And like my sister-in-law at the time, she was dating my brother. She like called my mom, like she called my brother. It was like, it got bad. I went to therapy while I was there. Went to like a group therapy. And my mom flew me home. Like I got to a point where I was so bad that I was stealing people's Adderall in our sorority. So sorry, sorority sisters, if you're listening, if you've been wondering that whole mystery, that was me. I don't care. I was stealing it because I knew where it was. And it helped suppress the
eating. Absolutely.
Like I will fully always talk about, like I will own up to all that shit. Cause
have you ever done a podcast about disordered eating or anything like that? You should get only on. You're like an expert.
Well, I have. You should listen to it. It wasn't about disordered eating. It was working with kids and teaching kids positive eating habits with Dr. Ali Delosier. It was an amazing.
Oh, wait, I did listen to that.
Amazing episode. Like she's so good and she's all about like reframing, because a lot of us are parents with our kids. That's why like the whole eating thing is like a big worry with me, because I do not want my kids, especially my girls, to ever go through it. And it's hard. What's hard for me is like I think my girls are going to have a much different body type than mine, because they take after Kev. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong, but so far, like Spencer is my child. Spencer's body type is me as a kid.
Yeah.
My girls are very much like Kev, and that's fine. They're beautiful girls. I just want to know that like, I don't want it to ever be an issue. I don't ever want it to be a problem. And I want to make sure I'm doing my work also to make sure that nothing gets passed on. I don't ever want any.
Totally. And honestly, that type of, like, my boys have my husband's like style body, like I can tell genetics.
Yeah.
Or really Luke, my older one, he's like skinny mini. Like my husband as a child was like no fat on him.
Yeah.
Where I got the fluffier bones.
Yeah.
And I dieted. I've been dieting my entire life.
Yeah.
And now I'm finally to the point where I'm like, fuck it. This is who I am now. But in the same token, it's ingrained in me. Like I want to be healthy though. Like, it's a struggle.
Well, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now, where it's like, I haven't really worked out in a while. And part of me is like, I'm actually okay with it. And I want to work out. Like I want to work out, but I am very nervous about re-immersing myself, because I know my mindset and I know the way I get, where I'm like, I'm afraid to rock the boat, where I'm like, I don't want to get in and think that it needs to be extreme.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
It's hard if you've struggled with it before.
Yeah.
Like I remember like eating 500 calories, drinking Diet Coke and like just like chewing gum, and then going to the gym, working off the 500 calories. And I was like, I had to do that. That was a sickness. It's an illness. It's a mental illness. It's very hard to deal with, but I hope that, we're going to just supersede our own past with our children and make sure that they have healthy habits and it's hard to have a healthy relationship with food. I wish I had a healthy relationship with food. I still don't.
No,
it stays with you, it really does.
No, yeah. I mean, especially in our generation, we come from.
Oh my gosh! I mean, thank God we have this generation of body positivity.
No,
I do think sometimes it goes a little overboard. Like, I mean, obesity. Body positivity versus like actual real medical obesity.
Yeah,
but like, I am still happy that I'm raising my children that. If you aren't this stick figure, that you're still okay,
Yeah.
So it's tough. It's always tough. All of it's tough, Mary.
All of it.
Does it get easier?
No.
I don't know.
No, not at all.
But we have each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's
That's
the thing.
all.
We're like a therapy.
all that matters.
Thank you for coming
Look
to
at
us.
us. Katie's Corner with Mary Hendrick, the Very Merry Life Katie's Corner therapy sessions.
Thank you for
Who wants to be
coming.
on next?
Yeah, we charge how much per hour?
All right.
God, actually, before we sign off, I just recently tried finding a new therapist, and she told me her rate, and I'm like, holy fuck! How does anyone afford it? That's the thing.
The people that truly need it, some of them can't afford it.
No, I mean, unless your insurance covers it, which is great and fine and dandy, but that's hard to find. And finding someone that you mesh with. Oh my God. I was like, how do people do this?
I need a therapist, so I need to start looking for.
You just come to me.
Perfect. Yeah. I love it. It's our little monthly therapy session. We've covered a lot of bases. We've covered, do we want more children, which you didn't answer. Did you answer that?
We're still out on that field. I think the answer is because I actually did a TikTok about it. Someone said, would you be happy if you got a positive pregnancy test? That will be your answer. If I got a positive pregnancy test right now, I would probably be speechless, honestly. Yeah. I would be like, oh shit. Yeah. I'd probably cry a little bit, both out of excitement and fear. And then I would just roll with it. Like I would.
Yeah, you just roll with it.
Like you got to do what you got to do. I wouldn't necessarily want that right now. Like I don't want that at all. So I'm like, I'm okay. I'm okay. Like I'm okay. I just don't like the finality of it. That freaks me out. Yeah.
I think that's why I freaked out too. Like, cause it is final for me, unless I go and do IVF, which is like 30 grand. And we wouldn't go that route. If anything, if I really wanted another, I'd probably go the adoption route, which is another difficult route as well. Yeah. But like my shop's closed and
it's weird. It's like settling. And I in my tech I said it's settling into your storyline, and it's a very weird thing to settle in. Cause like we've built up everything to get to this pinpoint.
Yeah. Now
we just ride it out.
Are in place.
Yep. And now we're just riding it out. And it's a very weird thing where you're like, am I going to get bored? Like for me, I'm like, am I going to get bored? Like what's next? Like what's going on? And you forget because no one talks about that on the next, the next step.
No one says, okay, once you're all done making your family, now it's time to grow. Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. Well, the good thing is I'll keep everyone on board for it and everyone can,
we'll see,
witness it. And I love my life. I think I'm coming to terms with no more kids and we're good. We're good. Yeah. We are good. We're blessed. And so are you.
Yes. Agreed. So stay tuned and find out what happens next.
Yes. Stay tuned. Well, cheers, Mary. Love you.
Cheers. Love you. Love you.
If you guys want to follow me, Mary will link.
Yeah. I'll link everything for Katie. And obviously if you're following on the Instagram page, I'll link her there.
Yeah. And I feel like if people are following you, they're going to like me.
Oh, they will. You better.
You fucking better. Well, we're signing off for the night. Toodaloo, our friends.
Love you guys. Love you. Another episode down and way more to go. But thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode and you would like to help support this podcast, I would love for you to subscribe. I'd love for you to share it with others and post about it on your own social media or leave a rating and review. I cannot tell you how helpful and how appreciated those things are for me. Of course, to catch all the latest from me, you can follow me over on Instagram at The Very Merry Life, over on TikTok, The Very Merry Life. And even if you wanted to check out my monthly newsletter, you can do so by subscribing over at theverymerrylife.com. I'll see you next week. Stay tuned for more honest, raw, real chit chat. I have some amazing moms lined up coming on, and shit's going to get fun. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to be good.